Hello, this is week 3 of level 3 at Wednesday Night Hop.
This is Katie.
And this is Paul.
Today we did lots of crab motions.
All the crab moves. We also focused on the same thing we did the rest of the month, which was additive and subtractive movements and musicality.
And we started off with kind of some goofy, playful variations that start off simple and can get arbitrarily complicated. So we call these our heel-toe slides or rotations.
Yeah.
And looking at it from this angle, we started off with a little bit of a partnered movement.
Really making sure that our weight is shifting from toes to heel. But we didn't necessarily have to be on the same toes or heel at the same time as our partner. So Paul could be on his toes and I could be on my heels, so we could go in opposition. Or maybe I wanted to do in-out toes. Right?
Yeah.
Or we could do happy feet along the side. All kinds of options.
Just as a breakdown, we did this motion is actually exaggerated heel toe, but when you do it flat and fast like this, like Katie does,
it's happy
can't
feet.
tell.
So you're on one toe and one heel at the same time.
This is as opposed to this motion. And we also talked about styling, having the feet together as we're moving instead of having our feet apart, although you can do that too.
All kinds of variations. And then we also talked about entrances into that. And we also talked about slides.
So one entrance was to just have a shifting of your body. So you're rotating and then you're just starting to move. This is parallel shoulders. And then this is opposing shoulders.
Yeah. And let's do that from the side view too.
Parallel shoulders. And then twisting shoulders.
Yeah. All right, let's go over the slides we did in partnership. So we talked about standing on one foot, making sure that all of our weight is on that foot that we're traveling towards, and then letting this other foot drag without putting a lot of weight on it. So again, we did that heel-toe movement, but on one side. And then we did it the other direction. Now we could also play with that foot being a little bit higher, maybe, and really testing our weight and balance. Yeah.
We also talked about the fact that we're aiming to have our bodies upright or torsos upright instead of leaning over like so, although you can do that too. But the default should be like you're sitting here, you have your leg out, and then you're moving over magically.
Yeah. So then we did that in partnership, and we also had a fun entrance for that.
Let's do the entrance as well.
The little Charleston to a bicycle kick and slide. And let's do that from the side too here. And again, we weren't standing or stepping too far out with that foot that we were going to travel onto. Still keeping it underneath ourselves.
This foot is the one that pulls you over, so if it's out, you have to pull yourself in somehow. So to lead that move, we rotate out here on the landing, and then we can visually or lead that motion.
Yeah. And then we also did some little fans, or do you want to cover more of that?
We did this first, and then we switched back to the other side, and then we regrouped, and we also did just some switches.
Yeah, we had some low-down kind of a switch into that.
Yeah, so if we were doing that partnered, it's here, boom, slide, as two options.
Yeah.
Then we reversed.
Yeah. And then we tried traveling away from that foot that we're on with these little slides and fans.
Yeah. And that's this, you can practice that by just moving your feet in the direction of your free foot. And we said if you bent your foot, it's going to be easier to draw this large circle as you move.
And again, as we do that move, we make sure that we're nice and upright, not leaning forward, back, or side to side too much.
And you can add arms if you're doing it as one person, or if you're doing it as two people, you can also add arms in a slightly different way.
I liked the eye contact there. And then we also did a fun move where the fellows got to sweep their leg. So let's start it from here. And on that one, I chose to keep my leg nice and low. I can also put a little bit higher.
Oh, yeah.
And when I'm doing that move, I focus on listening to my lead when they plant my foot down, my left foot. And that with that rotation, I also bring my shoulder with me and open up. And I can rotate a little bit more with that.
As a reminder, we had counts being 4, 5 stepping forward for the leads. That's where you have your shoulders parallel to the follow shoulders, right shoulder to right shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Nice and close.
Parallel. 5 is the step through and the rotation. And this is where our weight is on our right leg, so we can either land here or we can sweep that leg out as well.
And then again, it's much easier to do that rotating movement if we're stacked over the foot as opposed to leaning over. And then we also had a fun move for leads where they got to spin around.
Yeah, so lead spin is just at the end of same thing. We step through on 5, and then we can do a couple of rotations and then right back into a swing out. Okay, so the same entrance as the fan kick. Let's show it from another side. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Single rotation here, and back to a swing out.
And we talked to follows about how they could do their own solo movement while they're doing that. So then there's some more crab stuff, but crazy legs or breezy knees, or these moves that we did last week that were very additive. You would do a Tabby the cat, but make sure that you're ready to be picked up once the lead is done with the move. So
as a final thing on this move, we also all practice spinning, which you should be doing at home. And we started from one side and then stepping onto the other foot. We had 2 feet stylings to start with. One as our feet were tucked in close. The second one, which is what I like to do personally, but it's your choice, is to start with the leg out, then bring it in and have your toe down. If you're doing it that way, make sure that as you are spinning, you bring your leg here in before the follow arrives at your leg.
Yeah. So once you see the follow, make sure to collect that foot in.
Yeah.
Cool.
So those are some great additive and subtractive moves. You can really make those long hits in the music. We saw you guys doing an amazing job with it.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.